Hello, and welcome to the BonkTable podcast. We are not redoing that introduction. We're going to talk about Starcraft. Today, I have my wonderful co-host, Ben.
Yo.
Apex Chinchilla is sick today, so he will not be joining us, but we have a guest today to talk who attended. Ben, what is the name of the event?
The first annual Memorial Day Conquest or Competent Conquest Open.
Perfect. For Starcraft the Miniatures Game.
Yeah.
It's just bad. But we have a player who guested to play in the event. Dyzerg from the Anti-Timing podcast is joining us to talk about that whole event today.
Hello.
Yeah. And as you can see, we are not professionals, so I hope you're in good hands.
I will not make it any less professional or any more professional. Yeah, any more professional. That's what I was looking for.
I mean, either one, honestly.
So, Ben, do you want to talk about the event, like how it got started, why you did it, all that stuff?
Sure. I guess, honestly, we were kind of getting to a point with the game where lists are kind of feeling pretty hammered in. Like, we know what units are good, what combos are good. And we had started, putting a little bit more effort into the draft system, and just, scenarios and things like that. And, we're getting into that point where you're starting to look at the tournament side of things, not just playing the game. So I was like, well, I think we should... There are a couple of things that felt weird to me, and it partially came up because of this podcast, where we were talking about missions or deployments. I don't know. We kind of
it was missions on both. We're doing. But yeah,
we mostly we rated the missions. But when we were talking about that, one of the things that came up was that we might, when you make your list pairings and you make your draft pairings, it can be a weird thing with what's actually going to get played. Because I know that Apex mentioned talking about taking a mission that nobody wants to play, just because then he can just veto his opponent's 2 missions and he'll basically always get to play the thing he wants to play. And it kind of got me thinking, it's I want to do this. I want to do a quick 3-round tournament and just play and just test out that mechanic in a more real world setting. And I felt like everybody knew the game well enough at that point that we could do it, and it would be a pretty functional test. And I think we did a good job. I think it worked really well at doing that exact thing.
So initially we had 8 players, but due to sadly unforeseen force events and everything else, we had to drop, and it ended up being kind of effectively, weirdly enough, a single elimination tournament.
That's
how it kind of ended up
being a little weird.
But each of us got 2 to 3 games. I think each of us got 2 to 3 games. So, we kind of got there in the end and played around with the draft system a bit and how it turned out. Dyzerg, what did you think about the draft system, and do you want to talk about your picks for missions for your lists?
So I think I love the draft system. I come from other games like Shatterpoint and MCP, where you kind of have a draft system in a way, but not to this extent. MCP is kind of close at this point, but that's a new thing. So other games have draft systems like this, and for competitive play, I love it because it goes into that turn 0 strategy that you have to develop, and it kind of separates players who are playing the game from competitive players, because the competitive players will have their turn 0s down to a T. I need to make sure I do this. I need to make sure I have this plan A, B, and C for missions, and it just makes it super interesting for list building decisions on drafting. I love it. I love the aspect of it.
Yeah, that's fair. Ben, what are your thoughts on it? Oh,
I really like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so one of the things I really like about it is that you don't have you can't run into a tournament where there's a bad mission, right? I know I've played a lot of games that have missions that are just they kind of suck. or they
want to talk
really
about
they
foresight?
play. Not. I'm actually not talking about foresight. I'm talking about stuff that like changes the value of units significantly. Like light unit score. There was an old Conquest scenario.
My god, I remember that.
Yeah, that was like one was like heavies score like 2 points instead of 1 point on the on zones. So like if you didn't have 3 heavies in your list, or at least 2 heavies in your list, you basically auto lost if your opponent did, because they'd sit on their 2 zones and you'd sit on your 2 zones and they'd be scoring double points.
I think there was one where they reversed it. They had heavies come out early and lights coming out late. It was like they did a lot of weird shit in the early days.
Right. And a lot of games do those types of things kind of experimentally, but then they'll show up in tournaments that are run by non-tournament players, right? Like tournament players don't pick those missions. But casual players who are usually good community champions, a lot of times like that stuff because they don't really care about if the mission decides the game. Because most of the time, those guys don't really care if they win or lose, right? They're there to have fun, so they want the mission to just do a fun thing, and they don't really think about or care about like the mission's impact on a competitive game and how like the competition can be fun for the players, and how it can be ruined. So I really like that you just avoid that whole system by having a draft system.
One thing I really like actually about the draft, especially doing it a couple times in a row in the last week, is that you actually have quite a bit of control depending on your roll off and who gets to pick first and gets to decline gets declined first. That you're not in a bad place. Like you're not playing Proving Grounds on supply drop. Like it's gonna be like you guys got to do something real wrong to get to Proving Grounds and supply drop. I feel so.
Yeah,
because it's like you're gonna pick 2 and you're also gonna veto 2. So if you get the roll off to decide first, you can really just manipulate it in such a way that you might be playing the mission you want, but also playing a deployment that's not absolutely terrible. It might not be the best for you, but it's also not the absolute worst for looking at you Proving Grounds. So yeah, I
love Proving Grounds. I don't know what you're going on about, like, but it's I also think it's Zerg favored, to be completely honest with you.
Like, I think you have to have a very specific game plan and list going into it. I don't like to build silver bullets. It's just
100%.
Like it's just a thing where it's like, okay, you have a silver bullet for Proving Ground, cool. Okay, you lost the roll off to pick the deployment type, and they banned Proving Ground, and you picked your Proving Ground list because you're like, this is how I'm going to beat this player, and you're like, oh shit. Like, if I want to like put a criticism on the deployment thing, I think a lot of people are going to be playing hold position on Gauntlet. Because it's like, it's the most, I feel, not like balanced, but it's the most generic one out of them all. That a lot of people are going to feel very comfortable playing that mission and that deployment in their tournament games. Go ahead.
I think I played hold position. I think I went hold position or front lines. No, it was hold position, front lines.
Yeah.
In our 3 games, right? We played hold position, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain. Those 2 missions are close enough that I do mix them up. Like I know which one's which, but the gameplay, like the actual on the table play, when I think back on the game, like the missions play closely enough that I don't necessarily remember. But I played on Typhoon all 3 rounds, which I thought was interesting.
How'd you manage that
one? Well, so my options were Typhoon and Acropolis, and nobody wanted to play into Protoss on Acropolis, and that's valid. Except maybe Dyzerg would have wanted to do that, but I didn't really want to play into Zerg on Acropolis.
Okay.
But we both had Typhoon and Acropolis.
Yep. Yeah, we had the same missions. So I got myself away from Acropolis in that matchup. But that is one of those cases where if he could have forced it, right? Like if he had control over, I guess technically it's control over mission. The terminology is a little weird because like control means that you pick it at the end, and doesn't mean vetoing. And to me, I don't know, like whatever.
So
I don't know what the term like. The term's weird.
Yeah. He had final say. You had input into the mission.
He got final pick,
say. Yeah, final pick.
But that didn't matter because like I got to veto and we both had the same missions. So I had final say because I was like, you can choose Typhoon or Typhoon, sir.
Have fun.
Or the same deployments, and he was like, well, I guess I'll choose my Typhoon instead of your Typhoon.
What I got. Oh, I kid.
I don't think you actually said that, but you know, the joke stands.
It was close enough, I think. It was the same thing with the hold positions too. We both had hold positions, and I think you had supply drop, and I was like, I am playing Protoss on supply drop.
Yep.
But I think this brings up a valid question, and that is, what do you think holds more weight, mission selection or power to veto mission or power to veto deployment?
So here's the thing.
I think
before I want to just quick cut in here. When you do the dice roll, you get to choose. There's the choose part on the. Put my scissors down, but I'm just.
Yeah, it's for anybody who doesn't know. It's worth going over quick.
Yeah. So Starcraft, Command Center, enter as guest. We did it. Game rules. It's under section 9. It is mission selection of the draft. So you have your 2 rows. You do the roll off. But the thing you're actually doing, if you win the roll off, you have this choice: color. So you get to pick side, and you declare yourself either the red or the blue pair, and mission marker affinity for the entire game. Or choice 2, draft control. To control either the mission draft or the deployment draft, and then your opponent automatically gets the other. So if you choose the draft control, your opponent actually gets to pick the side of the table. Well, it was something I didn't catch on to until much later on. So there is that. You may continue.
Yeah, where was I? Let's see.
What do you think has more power, vetoing mission or vetoing deployment?
I think most of the missions are fairly similarly balanced right now. So I think vetoing deployment is better. Like I think ideally you want to veto deployments because there are more deployments that can really mess up your list than there are mission pairs that can mess up your list.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's really, you know, even if your opponent's like, okay, well I guess you choose between like hold position and divide and conquer, you're like, all right, well, I guess hold position or, you know, whatever's better for you.
Divide and conquer, if their pair is divide and conquer supply drop and they have Acropolis and proving grounds, it's like, well, at the end of the day, I can play divide and conquer on something what's not Acropolis and proving grounds.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think it's strong. Like, I think part of it is we'll see what happens as more missions come out. But right now, I think the missions are close enough that deployments are more likely to have a significant game impact.
I would
than
100%
what
agree.
missions you're playing.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm also curious what other deployment types they're going to come out with. I've seen some of the community ones and some of the top rank, and there's some of the community ones where I'm like, this actually wouldn't be that bad as a something you could select as a tournament. I'm also very curious, as more come out, how things will change.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what they do with more missions. I think we will start seeing more things that are out of the box. Because, like, that was probably, like, if I'm going to choose, like, a low light from the tournament, it is that I played, you know, basically the same mission in all 3 games. Like I might have actually played Hold Position in all 3 games. I think I got Frontlines against Brian in the last one, but like they're not that different anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
No, I agree.
And I think that's actually probably my biggest complaint is that those 2 missions are too similar. More than any of the other like aspects is that those missions are very much the same mission.
They're fine too, but I think it's just
there's nothing wrong with them, but we don't need 2 missions that are the same mission.
Yeah, I think it's like how aggressive you want to be as a list. Like I don't know if we're gonna get like I played a lot of War Machine and there was always talk about like the alpha strike and then how to prevent the alpha. I don't really think StarCraft has an alpha like War Machine did because it is an alternating activation game. Like someone's gonna take the alpha every
that
turn.
and the deployment system, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
it. So like if it was more close to how War Machine played and taking the alpha and using that aggression, Frontlines is actually a really good scenario to take and score points for your opponent. But you also have to, if you know your opponent's coming at you and getting really aggressive like that, you could just opt to not take the zone or not tag it, and then just let them take it so they score 1. And then you can just force them off because they overextended and then take it back for more points.
Yep.
So there's that. What I don't think players right now are like thinking about that because it seems like currently in a lot of our games, there's usually like a battle over 2 zones. Like we kind of claim our territory, fight over the middle in another one. And then there's little side drops through either like burrow ambush, proxy barrack, 6-pool, all that fun stuff to try and steal another zone from your opponent or put pressure on for them to relieve forces from the primary battle between like the 2 primary zones that are being fought on the team. That's what I've been kind of seeing as games have been going on. You guys read this?
Yeah, that's
I agree.
Pretty much how it is.
It's me.
I do think something else we're talking about with the draft would have to be the fact of like let's compare it to 40K, where a lot of tournaments, if not all tournaments, you know what the terrain's going to look like, you know what the missions you're going to play, the deployments that you're going to play well before the event actually happens. I like that this is we only have 5 missions and 5 deployments, but it's more variable than you know exactly what you're going to play at what round. So you have to like it's less of a memorization game and more of a you have to actually play the game.
It feels more tactical because of that. It feels like you're actually making choices on the fly instead of one of the problems one of the reasons I got out of competitive Magic was I often felt like it was a little too easy to get into a situation where you could just memorize like all the lines of play. Like not, literally all of them, but close enough to all of them. And 40K has kind of gotten to that place in some states as well, where a lot of the choices are pretty much just memorizable. And I don't know, that I don't feel like I lose. I stop having fun because I'm not like playing the game anymore.
It doesn't tickle your brain the same way. It's just like, can I remember where I'm supposed to be in my range bands? If I can remember that, then I probably win this game.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yep.
I played 40K in 7th edition, so like that was a wild time from what I hear nowadays. But also, whenever I like watch an event, I'm kind of just like, oh, they math hammered out the numbers and said this is what I can optimally list. Awesome. While I find with a more tactical game like StarCraft, even if you do have all the math, there's still plenty of tricks between each faction to like reduce or influence that, or your unit might not just be in the position, and there's always a couple times as things are going on to actually pull out. Like Dyzerg, our game on Friday, the medic, I had 2 to 3 opportunities to move those medics after you dropped those Zerglings and you needed a 6. Like, I had plenty of time to move them. I just didn't. I didn't even check it, so that's bad on me. But I found with the alternating activations, there's plenty of time to do it. You have play and counterplay, and it's harder to math hammer a game like this out. What I truly appreciate, because it isn't just like solved in the simulator.
Yeah.
Those poor clone troopers. It's just like the simulations. And then he gets ripped apart by General Grievous. Was that Battlefront 1? I think that was Battlefront 1 that line was said.
I think so. It's been a while since I played that
I have
game.
no idea.
Never played a Battlefront game,
I played Battlefront 1, but it was like 100 million years ago.
That's so many hours.
A hot minute.
Yeah. But yeah.
It's been at least a day. And I don't really remember what happened yesterday.
This poor man.
I'm over 40, guys. Like, my brain does not even work anymore.
We don't even know how he functions.
Yeah.
But
you both lost to me, so how does that make you feel?
You're playing Protoss.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
true.
yeah, so I don't need my
Yeah.
brain to function.
Yeah, you know, dude, we played that one Protoss, like Terran versus Protoss game. I was like, it got so Ben and I played a game. It's not out yet. It should come out, I think, maybe tomorrow or something. But playing Protoss is wild. Like Terran, you have to think ahead. You have to be like, okay, my guys are going here. I need these various buffs. Medics need to be in this position to heal and reduce damage, maybe do a flare. Raynor needs to be here to hand out buffs or like to reactivate stuff to get him into a counter position for like whatever my opponent's done. But I need information from my opponent. So I need some dead activations to kind of like be like, come on, do something, please. Just reveal your hand a little so I can commit. But it's a lot of that.
That's the thing with Protoss, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they just have like unpredictable range bands where they're able to have a plan and not project it.
Yeah, and it's just like, I don't know, I was playing that Protoss game and I was just kind of like, oh, you just get to do whatever you want. This is crazy good. And there've been plenty and I kind of just like remembered all my games into Ben and I just did everything he did to me back to him. But I think there was a turn where I was like, oh, all my stuff is in range or engaged. I pass. Like, cool. I've done everything I need to do. I can now move on. This is awesome. Now I get to watch the Terran player for the next 5 activations, setting up stims, healing off that damage, giving out crit 2s. So, like, I get why Terran Armed Forces...
There's a lot of fiddling as Terran, but I don't think Terran's, like, especially hard to play comparatively. But there is a lot of fiddly stuff.
Yeah, and it's just like, can you get that fiddly stuff down in a decent time frame? But I also find, like, with that fiddly stuff, and because it's alternating activations, you have, like, a million branching decision trees that eventually formulate into the one path. But it starts out really wide. Like, you start at the top of the branches and gotta work your way down. And if you pick the wrong one, stuff is in the right position, and it's not good for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think Terran is very good. I think that list, but I do think you got to run the 9-man Marines. Like, one of the things you run into that I have noticed in our Terran games, at least into Protoss, like there's maybe different value into Zerg. We haven't tested that list that much into Zerg. I know you played it.
I played it twice into Zerg now. It's fucking fantastic.
Fair enough. I guess maybe not into Terran then? I'm not sure.
I think it's still fantastic.
We'd have to test it more. But either way, like I really didn't like the double big block of Marauders because I just don't feel like they do enough damage. Mm-hmm. And you need to kill stuff. And the other thing I didn't like was a lot of small units of Marines because it's too easy to engage a small unit of Marine and have like a bunch of small units of Marines just not be able to shoot anything. Yeah. So that was the other problem I ran into playing that list is I had small Marines and you would engage like one of them and then that one wouldn't be able to do enough damage to you and then the other ones were like we're sad.
Yeah, it's funny because like I've seen some talk where Terran players or other Terran players are like, oh, I'll just shoot at you, and it's like, okay, but your list has a bunch of one-man Marines who are going to take a bunch of impacts, and you're kind of keeping your, like, depending on where your medic placement is, or if you don't have enough CP, or blah, 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 you might lose 2 to 3 Marines on the impacts, because that is life. Or you might lose 2 Marines. Let's say you lose 2 Marines on impacts. Zerglings have 1 billion rolls, Zealots have 1 billion rolls, it's coming for you. So you've already taken model bleed, and now you're going to fight back, and your opponent's getting their armor save, and their evade save, and it's like, okay, you didn't really do that much damage, and they get into melee and they just kind of like wipe the floor with you. While with the bigger unit Marines, you can absorb that initial hit. You're not. It's not as bad for model bleed because
it's not as bad for model bleed, and also like 6 Marines don't kill zealots. You know, like if you get charged by zealots, even if you have all 6 Marines, like let's say you medic it or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that. Those extra like 4 or 5 4 to 6 shots that you get from that 9-man, or potentially more if you're, rocket launcher and if you're using a rocket launcher. So like, I guess that's the same in the smaller unit, but like that extra damage is just so important because you can kill a guy, and 6 Marines can't kill a zealot that charged them.
Oh, but like, I find 6 Marines can still put a healthy chunk into a lot of things. Like, they'll still put a healthy chunk into Hydras, but when Hydras countershoot them, they're not getting rid of the full unit. So it's not like they no longer have that point and delete effect. And it's like, because I ran a big block of Marines, like in my first round game, Apex charged roaches into 2 of my big Marines because they're a little too close to each other. But because I wanted to have one guy staying on the zone just to, add extra supply. It's like 4 supply in a zone, here comes a roach. But the roach charged and got both. Pardon me, it really sucks. So then I'm like trying to free up these roaches, and so the big Marines go into the roaches, do a ton of damage, frees up the other unit. The other unit then shoots at Hydras, then runs up a thing. And Hydras, I think, they kill the Hydra the previous turn, and then the Hydras turn around and shoot back at them. But because there's only 3 Hydras this time, they live with a couple guys, even through the poor dice rolls.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, well, shooting a full stack of Hydras into 2 Marines isn't that great, but I'm going to keep stabbing them every turn and just keep shooting at you. Because
that's the thing is, you're
that's
like...
going to be mean as shit. It's great.
Yep. I mean, I guess like 2 Marines stimmed, they don't get a lot out of the stim, but
they get like,
especially if they have AGG and rocket launcher.
Yeah, so I had one Marine with C14 and I had the rocket launcher and AGG 12 guy, and it was like, okay, you get tough. Bang! Here's the AGG 12. Then I like threw the 4 rockets at him, and then I threw the 2 shots from the C14, and it was just like, okay, there's like 3 to 4 damage. Like, we might just chip away at a Hydra a turn. And if these Hydras want to countershoot these Marines, because none of the rest of the list is kind of getting to them, the Hydras aren't doing work into a lot of other things. What's really nice.
I do want to point out that Stim only affects the C14s.
I 100% know that, but I had cards to burn, and I didn't want to miss shots, because we know my dice roll. Dyzerg has seen my dice
listening, like...
Jim Raynor cannot fire a gun, as we have learned.
Yeah, he did not roll very well against me.
But Jim Raynor's value... How well did he do into you, Dyzerg? Tell me.
No, you should just drop Jim from your list, because I have not seen you perform with Jim, because he went into a queen twice, and both times he rolled 1s and 2s.
Yeah, fucking great.
Yeah, just drop him.
He actually did okay into me. He missed on some of those later turns when he was like fairly neutered by my mechanics anyway. But he did blow up he did 6 damage to Stalkers twice in a row in the early turns, which was a pretty big hit. Because he finished off a Stalker who had taken a little bit of chip damage, and he like killed another one, I think.
In all reality, I think Jim's points are double activating and crits.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
That's where
or the random disengage. Like, usually
you
don't want to disengage his turn because it's like, oh, I love getting impacted again.
Where it's like Kerrigan's points are, you roll at least halfway decent, and did your opponent let you get a grip off? That was worthwhile.
Gave him the slippy grippy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's hard to stop her from getting a decent grip off a lot of the time, but even still, she just doesn't do that much damage.
Well, the issue, you have to take spawn pool. If you take spawn pool, then you're guaranteed. But like now you're committing a lot of resources to one model. Which she's just a resource hog. And but it's like the game I played against Mass, it was like he just range banded her out of where I'm not going to get a useful grip unless I'm overexposing myself in a place that, like, why would I do that?
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. Like, you can definitely do that. As long, and especially into Terran, right? Like, you care so much about the grip being on specific targets.
Yeah, it's Jimmy.
Yeah, specifically Jimmy. Like,
yeah. I mean, like, putting onto a 9-stack of Marines
reason.
is great too. Like, if you get on the Marines, it's great. If you get it on Marauders, I kind of don't care for that as much. But it's also like, if you do it onto a stack of Marines, you probably have 2 more stacks of Marines that are going to do the exact same thing that they would do.
Yeah, like, Marauders are a good unit because they're tanky. But they're a good unit because they're tanky, not because, like, you're afraid of them.
Well, like, we've talked about this before, Ben, with the Marauders. The Marauders must shoot armored targets. The Stalkers and Hydras want to shoot armored targets. Like, they don't
Hydras don't even. Hydras literally don't care.
Yeah, Hydras don't care.
Stalkers want to shoot armored targets, but not really. Like, if that's the funny thing, is like Stalkers would much rather shoot Marines than Marauders most of the time.
Yeah, because, like, on average, 2 Stalkers kill a Marauder. On the 3 Marauders back, kill a Stalker, and it's just like, ooh, I don't need this in my life.
Yeah. Well, and just like the other side of it is, you know, you're getting 8 hits. Let's just say it's 8 hits. We'll assume you got your precision 1, and that's gonna kill almost 6 Marines. Well, it'll kill 5 Marines, but against Marauders, you're gonna get 2 go through, and then they're gonna save 4 out of the other 6, so they're gonna take 8 damage. They're actually taking less damage than the Marines are taking on average.
Damn, glory to the Marauder. Maybe that's why we got to kinetic form these Marauders to give a little extra. You're still losing a Marauder though, and you can still heal off the other one, so it doesn't matter.
Well, you only lose a Marauder if you don't have the -3. Well, I guess 8 damage does get through it without kinetic form. Yeah, that's fair. But,
yeah, like, that's why, like, for those upgrades, I'm like, the big Marauders vets, and then kind of want to laser them. Like, I talked to Dyzerg about the lasers on the big Marauders, and it's mostly just there if your opponent doesn't want to play with you by engaging them, you can still threat project out while sitting safely on the zone, getting the +3, and contributing to the rest of the game, or the rest of the battle. Because, like, I find a lot of times with their 12, they're towing that zone, but they can't really, like, threaten out enough to really affect other parts of the table if someone doesn't want to play with me.
This is something where, back to, like, tournament structure is going to be interesting, is if you know your opponent's list before the game, then you could play around that, right? Versus, I only know what you have a potential of, I have to play way safer. But it's like, because, like, if you just have 12-inch Marauders, and then I'm just going to put you on something like Breach, and then I don't care about your Marauders the entire game.
Yeah, the only time you care about them is whatever you're going to try and take the zone from them, and we've kind of found that it's easier for the counterplays to kill everything else around them than them. Like, go, just ignore, tie them up with something so they don't shoot at you. Zealots are great doing it. Zerglings are fine doing it. Artanis is, like, probably the perfect choice to be. He'll take forever to die, and just start bopping the Marines. Like, that's what Ben did to me in our round 2. Not the Marines, the medics. Start bopping the medics, start bopping the Marines, and killing all the stuff around those Marauders. Like, I think I still had one Marauder left at the end of the game.
Yeah, you don't need to kill the Marauder. Like, you just don't kill it.
Yeah. Marauders are literally there just as a zone taker, and I like.
And that goes back to why I didn't like the double Marauder version, the 2 big blocks, because, like, it was too many points invested in something that I didn't feel like was gonna do enough,
Yeah.
Especially if they're fully upgraded, like.
I mean, I only put vets on them, but.
Well, that's worth it, 100%. That 3-up is. Here's roaches that have more health.
I think if you're running Marauders, if you're doing big Marauders, you're taking vets. That's mandatory. if you're doing little marauders, you're taking lasers. That's mandatory. If you have points left over, then you will start buying other upgrades for those 2 units. And I think it goes big marauders, lasers for them as well. But deal with the rest of your list first. Because to be honest, I thought about in our game swapping to the other list with the 1 unit of marauders. The 1 small unit of marauders and putting up on that high ground and just raining like shots on you. You would have countershot them for sure, but they're doing work into stalkers because you did have like 5 stalkers. But the thing is like in the tournament, there's the still up and down of do we see the list or not? Because like what I've heard is an actual tournament play, we don't get to see the list. We just get to know the faction. And I'm like, okay, so like, do we reveal then see the lists, or do I get to look at your 2-list pair? You look at my 2-list pair, and then we pick. So like, I have an idea of what you're doing. If it's not, and we show each other our list of what we're playing that game. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm curious, like what they actually want out of the Fog of War thing.
I'd rather just do list chicken, where we both see, and then it's like, my A is good into your B, your A is good in, your A is good into my B, my B is good into your A, and we play like BB or something.
I don't mind list chicken, but I also played War Machine for years, so it's like I kind of love list chicken. To me, list chicken can be a skill, and it could be a player expression as well.
100%.
Yeah, I like it as well.
But like, I also like the Fog of War, so I say we just combine. Like, if it goes to combining the both, where you get to see your opponent's list, but then Fog of War still applies, where you don't know what list they went with. You can kind of piece it together in most cases, but it's like for the early stages of the game, you probably wouldn't be able to. I think it's interesting.
I don't think you do that because you want.
So the thing is, like,
it's
what
open
the unit's
information
deployed, though, right? Like, a unit's deployed, you have to know all of its upgrades.
Yeah,
like you can't that stuff's not surprises, and that's even like that's in the rules. Like, WYSIWYG's not required, but you must make it abundantly clear to your opponent as soon as you deploy the unit, like what things they have. So that's another. So like, I guess I wouldn't know that you have laser marauders in the wings, but when the marauders are out, I know that they're laser marauders.
I'm not a fan of that because like I feel like you should have. I played a lot of open information games. Like I don't know your strategy and what you're trying to do, but like knowing your list or my opponent's list, because there's been plenty of times where it's like an opponent has made like, oh, sorry, man, I put an extra unit on the table, or oh, sorry, they don't have that upgrade. And it's like, yeah, no problem, or like you do it yourself. Having that information right off the bat reduces a lot of that, especially at a tournament. Like, let's say we're going to Adepticon, and there's like this Starcraft Adepticon gets big. Let's say it's like 300 players or something ridiculous. Having stuff like that prevented, especially in the 2-list pair, like there's been plenty of times in War Machine in the 2-list player where someone has grabbed models from their other list on their sheet or whatever. And it's like, oh, so, and they put them on the table, then their deployment, they ran up the table, and then they say, oh, sorry, this unit isn't in this list, and I go, hey, no problem, man, just replace the that unit with what it was supposed to be. Like, it's not the end of the world, but I don't want to have a game where it ended and my opponent goes, oh, sorry, man, that unit wasn't in the list, because that might have changed whatever tactics I did in that game.
Oh, I had 500 extra minerals in this game.
Yeah.
I deployed Hydras on accident. They're not in this list. Whoops.
That's happened. I've dealt with those games.
And like that is my biggest worry, and I think everybody's biggest worry about the Fog of War stuff is misplaying lists, or like how do you do it to a way where one person doesn't feel like, did they actually play the proper list? Because it's like that thought's gonna be there with Fog of War. You can't avoid that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you have to do it at the you have to show it at the end.
But then even at the end,
somebody has to.
Do you remember all the units that actually came on and lived and died?
Then then it has to be like you have to have memory of all of it. And I don't know, I don't like it.
I'm not tell you something.
Then,
at an event, I play the game and then I go get food or drink or something. Like,
right, I also don't want to do that.
Yeah.
The bookkeeping is a lot. It just is a lot.
Like, I don't want to play a mini game under the table while playing the main game. That's the thing. Like,
true, and that's fair. But I enjoy the fog of war element with like deploying. But like, what do you think about having you pick the list, like you show your list, and then you tell them what list you picked, and then the fog of war for deploying is active, because I ain't gonna remember what you all had in your list.
So what? They show me the list, they pick their list, and then
fog of war is active.
At that point, like, click take photo. Cool.
Yeah.
Like,
fair.
Like,
at that point, it's just kind of who cares at the rule at that point.
Why are we adding a memory game?
Yeah,
I guess my feel.
I'm not playing like like a match card game where it's like, oh, I found 2 kings. That's a match. Like, the fuck.
And that is like interesting thing about like, and I think if I had to pick right now, like list chicken, just open information, or fog of war entirely, I would just pick list chicken because it's just cleaner.
Yeah, it is. It provides like judges information to make choices. It provides each player to make choices. It provides a lot. Like the video games, like this is all references from the video games. They have fog of war and all that stuff, and that's fine because it's contained. It's contained in a video game. There's all like when you play the video game, you are doing your micro and macro. You're not being like, oh, did my Marine pick up an AGG-12 coming out of the barracks or a C-14 today? Like,
yep.
That bitch got a C-14 and he's getting stemmed and sent to the front to die. Sorry, buddy. Like, I don't know. Ben's been playing games long. I've been doing this for like, I guess almost 12 or 13 years now. You kind of start seeing everything and it's just like, I rather not deal with those engagements because I've seen them gone wrong as well from like with things that have done hidden information or players have screwed up and it's like, okay, it's not the end of the world, but some people have done it maliciously and I'd rather not deal with that and provide all the information possible so at the end of the day it's clean for everybody. Like the players,
it's not a problem until it is, and when it is, it's catastrophic. That's kind of my outlook.
But, yeah, I mean, and we can all be realistic. Like you said, you've been playing games for 12. Ben, how long have you been playing miniatures games?
Since he was born. Literally came out with a chess piece.
About 30 years. Like I won my first Rogue Trader in like 98.
All right, and then I'm sitting at like 20 years. So it's like,
nice.
And you can't tell me that across all of these years of playing miniatures games, you haven't ran into one person that tried abusing the rules of an event.
Yeah. I can literally point at an Adepticon where it happened. Like,
I mean, it's probably every event you've been to.
I think every major tournament I've been to, it's come up. Something is somebody at least has tried to rules lawyer in an abusive way, if not like straight up cheat, right?
Yep.
Like I rather just have the defense and play a clean game.
Yeah.
It's a War Dolly game. Relax.
Right. At the end of the day, like I play these games. I'm not out here for notoriety. I'm not out for fortune or fame, people. Like those things don't exist in these games. So like you're out there playing because you want to test your skill against somebody else, but some people's competitiveness doesn't let them do that, and that sucks because it just hurts. It's worse for them, and it hurts the community, and it hurts everybody around them when winning matters more to them than playing the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather play a clean game. Like even when I was playing a game the other day, and I spawning pooled 6. I 6-pooled timing rush Kerrigan at the beginning of the game for whatever reason, and at the end of the game, someone's like, "Did you just timing rush Kerrigan?" I'm like, "I am an idiot," and I was so sorry. I was so embarrassed. I'm like, I would rather reverse the game and do a clean game state if it was possible.
Yeah.
Control Z repetitively until it gets back there.
Mm-hmm.
Now I gotta go read
this
this timing rush card. Yeah,
it says they're guns only.
Actives, yeah, because they want to. Yeah. Why the fuck is it 2 BP or BM?
That's the hardest part about that card. It's like it's such a good card, but you're only getting to 8 biomass anyways, and now 2 of that biomass is locked to 1 card, and it just makes it so difficult to use.
Yeah, you're secretly playing a 7 by. You know what? Just put Kerrigan's like Crushing Grip on a 2 BM and you're fine.
I would actually not hate that.
Like, here's my question: Why is to reactivate a unit 2 CP, but for your opponent to shut down a unit via activations 1 BM? Fuck you, Kerrigan. Crushing Grip bullshit.
I mean,
honestly, that's just what would
Jimmy's
happen.
Is way stronger.
100%.
It is.
Like as I played more and realized the folly of my hubris and my initial like grievances of the game and like smoothing a lot of shit out. It's like, oh, okay, you know, there's a lot of like skill expression in here, and like, yeah, Jimmy deserves all the hate and love he gets.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, Kerrigan's just an NPE to an extent because of the fact that it's telling you can't play with your toy.
Yeah, but it's not in a bad way. Like she's
no, it's NPE used loosely.
Yeah, it's a good tool in her high heels, her combat heels. Like, yeah, we kind of had this discussion yesterday about the 3 heroes where like Kerrigan's value, a lot of it is in our offensive kit. Like, I guess the grip is like a support ability, while Jimmy, majority of his values and his support abilities are Tannis's majority of his values in his defensive kit and like tankiness. So that's why like when people don't get work out of Kerrigan, they feel really bad compared to like not getting work out of Jimmy or Tannis. Like Tannis can always keep getting punched in the face and he'll be fine. Jimmy can always keep giving out buffs to everybody. Kerrigan, when she fails to kill something, it's like, why are you 250 points, Kerrigan? Tell me.
She's just an assassin, and if you don't use her like an assassin, she'll die.
Or just not get
like this is, or I mean, even then, it's like the more and more I've played, the more and more Kerrigan is just like she should be a flanker. Like that's all she is. Yep. And she's great at it. But like the moment your opponent has an opportunity to either shoot her with something else or charge her with something else, she's just dead, and you didn't get the use out of her.
Yeah.
Because what, in our game, she ran up, I shot her in the face, and you're like, oh no, and then ran her away, and it's like, come back, you have 3 health left. Also, I learned that the rocket launchers have indirect. I could shoot over walls. Could've.
Yep. Yes.
I don't know if the 1-inch like full cover would have prevented me from just kind of like bopping her, but it still would have been really good.
I don't think direct cover works against.
It doesn't, but you get evade.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I'm reading
it doesn't do anything.
If you get line of sight target and resolving damage, the target must be still within range. If the target is not within line of sight, you may make an evade roll. Okay, so you would just get your armor and evade roll, and on Kerrigan at that point, where is she? Evade? A 6. Wow, on a 5 up, 6 up. Might have died.
Down to a 4 up. To a 4 up.
Well, that's if you
only if she targeted them, though.
If she targeted them, yeah.
You were hiding behind a wall.
Or if you're running Zerg Swarm, you can use the card for that, I guess. Yep. But why?
I think
but why?
Did something to
you probably used the card already at that point.
No, she's still a good character. It's just she needs a little bit of extra 100%. Love from the pilot of the list, the player.
Yeah, I think that's the neat thing is like Jimmy has a lot of tools, and I think he's a good example of someone who knows how to utilize their tools, and like is very good at like their economy. Artanis is somebody who can understand range bands, and then Kerrigan is this person played this game too much and has no life and understands how to use her perfectly. I think she's one of the harder ones to use.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. Like she's definitely, I think she's definitely the hardest to use, and she does have to do work.
Mm-hmm.
That is a big thing, right? Like if you roll bad with Kerrigan, I mean, even if you're dedicating 6 pool, if you just roll bad with her, it is still a problem.
Yeah, this is only 4 damage. That doesn't kill anything besides a roach or 2 marines, or
not even a
doesn't
marauder.
Kill enough that's worth anything. Yeah, like it's 4 damage is not enough. Like Precision 2 is great for her. You're saving a spawning pool for Kerrigan if you're playing her, and if you're not, you're
you
missing
absolutely
out.
do it. But there's a big difference between something you absolutely do and it like making her a top tier piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does she hunt adepts? Is that her target into Protoss? Like, I'm trying to figure out what she wants to kill in Protoss. But that 2 shield just says, we live a little longer on the first attack. We might just have bodies still to fight back.
I'm starting to really lean. This is a lot from the conversation that Ben and I had after our game. Is you might just play a list without Kerrigan, and that's your anti-Protoss list.
I'd be fine with that because, like, I think she does work into Terran and Zerg, but Protoss, she doesn't have a nice, like, she can't scalpel anything out nicely because of the shields.
Mm-hmm.
Learned that the hard way.
Like, it might just be you go Malignant in without Kerrigan into Protoss, and then you go Kerrigan Swarm Kerrigan into Terran.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously that's where I'm leaning because I said that in our chat for anybody who watched those games. But like, I think it makes a difference, and it's easy to overlook how big of a difference that could make.
Mm-hmm.
So,
plus, like Malignant into Protoss is so big because that says I got rid of your shields before the actual damage came through.
Yep.
Is there for the tournament itself? Is there anything more we want to talk about on that thing? Like, I feel like we've drifted away to talk about various characters and units and stuff.
Yeah, so let's go over rounds real quick. Like, they don't have to be that fast. So, Dyzerg and I played round 1.
Congratulations.
And
give him a softball.
Dude, you were fine.
I definitely would not call you a softball.
I told you already, Dyzerg. You're probably being like 85% of the current player base. You're fine. Like,
I mean, we don't know, right? Like, it's not like we played all of them, but
you know what? I'm just gonna say.
But
it.
yeah,
easy 85. I don't even have to think of it.
I would rather lose 100. It's like this whole like Sun Tzu stuff, right? Like, I'd rather lose all my games right now, and then when it actually matters, when the game's out and we're doing competitive circuits, that's when I'll go win.
What did I sent you that message? You should lose all your practice games and win all your tournament games. That is it.
100%.
Yep.
I very much do believe that.
Yeah, it's always the ideal. Like, it's a weird thing to have be ideal, but it really is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Anyways.
So we played, like, and our game mostly came down to me using Artanis plus some zoning to shut down your Hydras, which leads into the fact that I also don't think Hydras are especially good against Protoss.
Yeah,
because
I think our game really opened my eyes a lot to just Zerg list building, because you used Artanis in a way that I have not been abused by yet, and the fact that that's a possibility makes me like, I don't even want to run Hydras into Protoss anymore.
Did he do the thing where one Hydra was in range and the rest of them weren't, and you hired your stand and you got to shoot like 3 fucking dice at him?
I basically was down 500 points the entire game.
Okay, so you know what? Like, when you ever meet Ben in person, just hit him. Like, he's being rude. He does that. He did that shit to me, and I'm just like, and I'm at the point now where wherever I see Artanis, I'm just like, where the fuck are my range bands?
Like, there's workarounds, but it's also like, why bring when you have the opportunity in a 2-list? This is why I love 2-list format, and I think 2-list format needs to be just widely adopted.
Strong agree.
This creates the opportunity for me to say, I'm just not going to take Hydras here, and I'm fine with that because they're just going to get shut off anyways, or I have to go through hoops and still lose resources in order to get efficiency out of the Hydras. Because, like, what was the answer? The answer was I guess the Hydras have to waste a turn and a half just for positioning before they could even get a shot off. And by that point, your Stalkers are killing them, or Zealots, or Praetor, or any other resources you have. It just changes your resource that you're using to deal with them, but you have more time to deal with them than I have time to set them up.
Yeah. Once they get it, like, what happens is Artanis forces them into a position where they have to get aggressive, and as soon as they get into a position where they had to get aggressive, Zealots kill them. Like, Zealots just put them right in a bin for a huge point and like supply advantage. So like you force, so either the Hydras don't do anything, and Artanis like dances with them a little bit and pretty much shuts them down, and they don't really get their value, or they eventually have to commit, because if they don't commit, you're gonna lose, right? Like that's too many points sitting there to not do anything. And then you're opening yourself up to a lot of problems, because a lot of Protoss stuff is really good at hurting light units. So you're gonna either like a zealots can pick them up, adepts can do a giant chunk of damage to them. Like nothing's good. They don't want any of that smoke, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan of them or Kerrigan. What happens every time I play Protoss into Kerrigan is Kerrigan does something, and then zealots come out of a pylon and murder her, because she's already gone, and then they're just like, cool, charge, like the impacts and clash like kills you on average, because it only takes 12 hits to kill her.
Damn girl, she not living good.
Yeah, she dies on average to unupgraded zealots.
That is not a good place to be. That is not. What did I do to kiss? I played Apex. Or do you guys still want to go? Because I played a Terran versus. Actually, one question: what did you guys think of the map, Lost Temple, that I did?
I think it's my favorite of your maps.
Okay. Ben?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I think there was a little bit too much grass. I would move a couple of pieces of grass from it. But I liked it overall.
Thank you.
I like the high ground, and I like the I like the middle point, and the fact that it is a thing that if you don't remove grass properly with how the maps are set up, then the middle just becomes a King of the Hill type of issue, which is really cool. Because if you let somebody burrow ambush into that middle point, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
I enjoy that map. It asks a lot of questions that are fun.
I'm glad.
Yeah, I thought it was a good map.
Thank you. I've been getting a little bit of feedback as Jesse's been sending me some stuff. I am gonna tweak some of these maps. Some of the first maps I did have a little too much grass, while some of them, as I later went on, don't, or have just like that nice middle ground of grass just right. So I think I'm gonna go back to some of these maps and adjust that. There's a couple of them that need their ramps widened. I know on the Zerg caves, I'm probably gonna pop out, like do the same thing I did for your third game, Ben, and remove some of that little bit of grass there, but also fix those ramps. Just like have a better ramp, and because that's just the ramp that came with the thing. So I'll fix those. But so like as the maps are played, like providing feedback is really good. So I'll just sit there and like tweak them so they're a little smoother for everybody.
Yeah.
I
wouldn't want to remove any grass from the middle of the board, but some of the grass that's near the deployment zones, I would want to get rid of some of that.
Yeah, so I can knock down some of that. That's fine. Because like I had a peek at the terrain rules, and it's like you should have like 2 firing lanes through this thing. I'm like, oh, okay, you know what, that's fair. Because I played Apex, and his concern was like, he's like, yes, I didn't get to shoot you, and I had to burrow ambush my Hydras onto the high ground on the side here that's a little too forward aggressive. And he's like, he didn't like the high ground positioning because there wasn't like a good way for him to get down there or to affect the table. Like you're kind of taking it as a fire basin, and that's kind of what that table is asking of you. But Hydras being up there is a huge commitment of supply, especially with a big unit. And he put it on a more forward one to affect me, because there wasn't those firing lanes that the terrain packet, kind of asked for you. So I'm like, okay, you know what, that's fair. Maybe I'll open up the table by reducing grass. Because his counter to me and the table was like, yeah, I didn't really get to fire at you or anything because you were hiding behind grass, but I also wasn't getting like dumpstered on turn 1 from like the previous maps where you burrow ambush up and have group spined and basically shoot if I like on a gauntlet deploy walk 4 inches out. Like that's not a like stuff like that. I'm like, you shouldn't really be shooting into the deployment zone and stuff.
Right. Yeah, and that is a fine line to walk.
Yeah, and so like I get it. I get his criticism, but and I agree with you guys. Some of those maps have too much grass, so knock that down and fix those. For Apex in my game, he threw a big Hydra unit up on the high ground. I used Rainer Jimmy to redeploy or reactivate some Marines and like move them out and took the middle zone and like took three of the zones. But using grass, he got his melee units up into me. And I actually pulled back from the middle because I'm like, I'm not going to have a fight on three fronts with Marines versus Roaches. Marauders versus Carry Swarm. And Marines versus, or then I got medics versus Hydras. So like I pulled some stuff back to hide for a turn effectively, but still take each of the three zones. And then, reposition and re-threw more stuff up with the Terran speed of like go, double activating, stim pack to like throw Marines at the Hydras so that, yes, he may shoot at one of the Marines and kill it, but now there's a full stack of 9 with all the bells and whistles to kind of like really go to town on these Hydras who took some chip damage. But so that kind of started to work for my favor. He drop shipped in some more Hydras into like my back line, but it's like, okay, I just walk a full unit of Marines, like a 9-man, in front of them, and there's 2 Hydras. Like they just don't have enough work to kill 9 Marines, and then they just got lit up and died. So I was like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
And eventually, the Marauders won the Carry Swarm fight, and then started fighting Roaches, and they eventually started winning that fight because I got both medics over there healing the Marauders. So like now the Marauders aren't dying, and the Roaches weren't in melee weren't on the zone but couldn't close ranks. They're both base to base. So it's like, okay, I still have control of that zone, and I I used the Rainer's Raider deploy to retake the middle and try and go for his zones. But at that point, I kind of broke through the middle. Kerrigan. What happened to her? Something happened to her where, same thing happened in our game, Dyzerg, where Kerrigan came forward, to like charge in, but he chose the Hydras first, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna spin all the Marine guns onto Kerrigan and just kind of blast her in the face, and just killed her before she charged in.
She upsets so much of your sequencing. It's rough.
Yeah. But it's like he had the same opportunity you did, where it's like he could have leaped over the grass and then charged me and still kept her safe. Yeah. And it's like, okay, if a big stack of Marines with all the bells and whistles could see Kerrigan, they're gonna put a heavy chunk of damage into her, and she has a good chance of dying. So yeah.
Yep.
Overall, I pretty good game. But I ended it by taking all the zones and kind of wiping out a majority of his list. Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Game 2, Dyzerg, who did you play?
Brian.
Yep, Brian.
Did you know that Brian won both LVO and Adepticon in the same year? Fun fact.
I did not know that. That's for Conquest?
Yeah, for Conquest. Also, he's full bearded. He looks like a dwarf.
Oh, is he short too?
No. He's like around my height.
I don't know how tall you are.
Oh, I'm 6 feet.
It doesn't help me at all.
Yeah.
Oh man. Anyways, Brian was really cool. I really enjoyed playing the game with him. Really great. I had a good time playing against him. It was fun to do Zerg versus Zerg. It was funny because I went with the other list that I haven't had a lot of reps with yet, and was trying out Zerg Swarm some more, and he was going Kerrigan Swarm with Malignant. I'm like, I just like your list more than mine right now. And it just, one thing after another, it just turned into a point where it was like, I have no end, because Kerrigan got. I sent my Kerrigan to go try to get the middle, because it was divide and conquer. And I was like, I'm going to go and get the middle, away from you getting the middle. And I did it, but then his Kerrigan came after my Kerrigan, and whoever has the second into it, like, he just got impact after impact, and Malignant really paid off that game. I'm like, this is just a sign that I should not give up on Malignant.
It does a lot of damage.
It does so much damage.
It really adds up.
It does. It does. I did the math one night. On average, just pure averages, if you charge with every single model in a typical Zerg list that has impacts only once across the entire game. That's 13 extra damage just off of Malignant.
Jesus Christ. Totally
And
worth
that's-
10
yeah, like,
gas. Totally.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like,
it's-
oh, cool, that's a whole Marine squad, right? Like,
Yeah. It's good. It's good.
it's a lot of
It's just-
damage.
It's just can you make a list that feels good card wise? Because Zerg gas math does not like that 10. It just doesn't.
I mean, it doesn't. It's a tough 10 to pay for sure. It's
But-
good though.
Do you think
It's
they
so
did it
good.
on
Like-
purpose that way?
No, because they changed
don't.
things recently where they dropped Overlord by 10, and you would think it would make things easier, but it actually made things harder.
I think
Because
they
before it
priced
was
the
like-
cards the way they think the cards should be priced, based on whatever a baseline formula is, and then like how much better than a spawning pool something is. And then they're just like, well, these are the cards that exist, and they fit the lore, and there's their approximate point costs, and there maybe they'd massage points by like 5 to make it work better, but I don't think so. I don't think they're trying to build I guess decks, for lack of a better term, like tactical layouts, in order to do that. And I don't think they should. Like, I think they should design the cards to the way they're designing them.
Yeah.
And then it should be on us to make them into a thing. Because I don't like it when games like pre-design my list for me. It was one of the things I didn't like about themeless War Machine, and part of why I didn't play much Mark III.
Yeah, that's fair. Because like
That's actually exactly why I hated it.
yeah, the game forced you into this route. Did you like it or did you not? And like that, I understand that because I played a lot of Mark III War Machine. I played the entire edition of that, and that was one of its biggest criticisms. Was like people just want to play with all their toys in whatever way. They didn't want to buy effectively individual armies in the faction that they wanted to play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like
It
I
was just
really
like-
like theme lists existing.
Mhm.
I didn't like it when they were so powerful that they designed the game.
Yeah, well, that was the end of Mark
Yep.
II. There was a couple theme lists. I think it was a Shadow, Soul and Body from Niagara 2. Whatever the fuck the Veil 2 one was.
Harbinger.
Harbinger, Elemental Evolution, EE, and were like 3 of the big theme forces that really allowed like Trolls, Trolls, I remember, Legion, and Crix to just get really oppressive at the end of Mark II. Like, did you know for Mark II War Machine, when designing scenarios, they had the Denegra 2 template, and they had a literal area of they would build a scenario and they put it on to see could Denegra 2 win in one turn, and that's how bad her feat was, and her whole theme force.
Oh, that's rough.
So like that's a major problem in a game, and so like they're forced to do a new edition or do something about her, and they finally did in the new edition. But like that's how bad that was.
And they just doubled down on the themes. Like,
Yeah, because like a lot of people go like, well, like I
It's sold models.
It's sold models. Like, oh, don't you want to play all Iron Fangs? Don't you want to play all Winter Guard? Like, you should have seen the old PP.
Legitimately, one of the things that sold me on the game in the first place was that you could like buy the units you liked and have a very different play experience by just switching your caster.
Yeah,
And I mean that was one of their company taglines, and like it was true, but competitively it didn't really work that way.
yeah.
But then in Mark III, they completely abandoned that as even like there was no more even playing pretend that was how the game was going to work.
No, it was all theme forces. You picked a theme force and you ran with it. I forget if there were certain caster restrictions in some. I don't remember anymore. But yeah, like you started with your theme force. What theme force do you want to play? Yeah, I don't. Seems like if we want to look down like the invisible rabbit hole of the factions, it might get that way. But from what they said, they kind of want to have the core units available to each of their various sub factions, what each of the like characters are going to kind of come out with, and then add or tack on their special units onto that sub faction, and maybe take away a couple units because they never actually use them, so on. So it's
here's the cool thing about that though is like let's work Kerrigan Raptors for instance. Let's say Stukov comes out. Well, Stukovs won't be able to use Kerrigan Raptors, but they can make the Infested Marines just as good as Kerrigan Raptors in their own regard. And that's the cool thing that I like about what they're doing is the unique units are bringing their own edge that makes you have a theme to play around with its own individual rules that are good, but not quite better.
And they will lean towards, like, I mean, you could already see it. The most obvious one is Daylam versus Kalani, right? Like,
yeah.
Pylon is a lot better than the preventing 2 damage, and Power Field is not very good, and Artanis is very good. So you run into kind of this like double whammy problem. And also like the list that I would totally want, I would love to take Praetors and Daylam, and I can't.
You're gonna stack on another 2 damage reduction on they're already tough? Like, fuck off, Ben, please. I have a family.
Yeah, like you get to 2 damage reduction on the thing that gets through, and like it'd be great. I don't know if it'd be balanced, probably not. But
I guess
whatever.
It's the same thing for Terran though too. Is like, why are you gonna play TAF when you have place 12?
Yeah.
At this point,
I think TAF looks better than it is. To be fair, the place 12 is biological, so as Mech Terran comes out, I think TAF might see more value.
I see that 100%. Like when we get that siege tank, I could see TAF potentially being more interesting.
Yeah. But they have it built in for when those units come out, and you're like, oh, you know what? We actually have this thing for like the past 2 years. Like Mark II War Machine did that a lot.
It's also nice to have a generic thing. And this isn't on the web app as far as I know, but it is on the physical cards. I mean, this doesn't work for Rainer's Raiders, because Rainer's Raiders also have air. But Colony and... or Kalai? I don't know. I think I keep adding an N to it that isn't there. Sorry, Starcraft fans. I'm not up on my Starcraft lore. But... they have air slots. Daylam has an air slot. And Zerg Swarm has an air slot on the physical cards, and Kerrigan's doesn't, and Kalai doesn't. So,
very interesting.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. I discovered somebody mentioned it, and then asked about the physical cards, and then I looked up the print and plays, and I was like, oh, okay. So both Terran ones have an air slot built in, but the other, but the specialist ones, I guess. Both the ones that have a character slot don't have an air slot for the other 2 factions.
Okay.
But that's not really tournament related, so it's a little off topic.
Okay, Dyzerg, please finish.
Yes.
we have this as this tradition.
So yeah, game with Brian went really well, and I ended up just conceding because I was like, I could do whatever I want on this turn and score the most points I could this turn, and you still mercy rule me. That's because I have lost Kerrigan too early. And it's kind of went though. It was a great game. Like made me have some thoughts about I don't like that list direction into Zerg, which is good to know. But so it was a good day of learning and getting reps against people I have not played against yet, and that's always better. So that's I got what I wanted out of the event. Because after that, I was like, I'm tired because I only slept like 1 hour that night. I'm gonna go ahead and take the last bye.
Yeah, then we ended up just doing a single elimination because it's like, oh, Apex and I have already played, so going to Brian and Ben. Yeah, you do have to go, so. Thank you for joining us. I guess you'll have to listen to the rest of the episode to find out what Ben and I say. But thank you for coming on and being our guest. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
I did. You guys as well. It was really. Thank you for having me on. I'll catch you guys later.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, catch you later. Thanks for joining us.
I miss them already. Okay. How was our game, Ben?
Well, it was kind of a landslide. So,
jeez,
not much to talk about. I pretty much dominated you right up to the last turn where I won by 1 point by the skin of my teeth. That was a really, really good game.
Dominated me for the entire game. You had to think. I made you think for once in your freaking life.
I know I didn't. I absolutely didn't. Like, that game was back and forth the whole time, and it was neck and neck the whole time.
Yeah.
And it came down to literally the last turn. If I got greedy on 4, and I'm a little mad at myself about it. So I'm like, my biggest mistake that game, and I like to call these out. The biggest mistake I made that game was on turn 4, where I went into the big Marine squad, because I should kill 3 Marines with the Zealots. And they should then go down to 1 supply, and I should get the zone. But there were only 3 wounds left on the other Marine unit, so I would only have had to do 3 wounds instead of 6 wounds, and I did 5, I think.
Yeah.
And I came up 1 short of dropping a supply on that unit, which let you keep the zone instead of me flipping it. And then we tied on the zone both of those turns, instead of me winning the zone both of those turns, which would have been a huge, that I win by 7 instead of 1 then, everything else being equal. And that was just bad play. Like, that was just straight up a mistake, and I was really mad at myself about it. But, we barely got there, so
yeah,
I guess it was fine. But that was a really, really good game, and man, those... I know that, like, I had basically written that list, 3 days before? We worked on it together, but I wrote
it on Friday. I played it Friday. I played it into Dyzerg, that list, that Terran list. Are you talking about the Terran list, or are you talking about your Protoss list?
Yeah, the Terran list.
Yeah,
the Protoss lists, I guess I could go into that, but I don't know. There's kind of one Protoss list right now. If you ask,
you played more Stalkers instead of more Adepts and Zealots, kind of thing. Like, that was your swap. You do more Adepts and Zealots.
It's literally the elite Zealots for 2 more Stalkers and like some points, some upgrade points go slightly differently, but
yeah,
is the swap for me. It's basically the same list.
Yeah. I actually, so that list you made, because like you made it, we talked about it a little bit, and then made a couple adjustments, and then I played the one with the adjustments, and it's just really, really solid. Like, you have to deal with the Marauders as they get up the table to sit on their zone. I was trying to take the middle, but once you kind of like put the threat of those Stalkers, that first pair of 2 Stalkers to like threaten into me, it was kind of like, this is not gonna be great. I also, with the Marines, or the first unit of Marines that was coming up that side, maybe I shouldn't have broken that grass to then get shot by Stalkers or something. Kind of one of those things of just like, might be bad. But I was trying to like force project, because like maybe instead of like having the rocket launcher go to do some tickle damage, just run that Marine squad onto the zone. I think so. It's just like they're there already, like projecting and sending, kind of move at their own leisure. Hiding medics kind of did their good job, then eventually got into a hiding point. I weirdly enough didn't need. I like thought about using Rain and Raiders in a bunch of spots, and eventually it was just kind of like medics needed to help the Marauders because you were shooting those other medics, and I needed to and still have supply in the zone, and I'm just like, you need to get through this giant mash of like Zealots and Marines and everything. So like, I'm just picking you up and dropping you on the other side. Like, fuck it, here we go.
Yep.
And I think that was like weirdly a correct choice for that. Because I thought about like,
I think so,
proxy barracks and then Rainer's raiding like the Marine unit over, but it was just like, no, like they just need to steal the zone for like a turn, and maybe the rocket launcher guy, because I was trying to sit on both zones. Like you had to spin around and put a bunch of damage in that Marines, but like all those guys over there were ready to do that anyway. It was just there as a steal, and so it's like maybe I should just push forward to kind of like go for it, and maybe Jimmy should have been looking at his shots into that one Stalker way, like really far away, instead of staying on the high ground, get onto the mid ground a little better. Like I think there was a bunch of little mistakes I made that could have like slowly tilted it. Like my AGG-12 was trying to do that 1 point of damage into that Stalker under Guardian Shield to kill the one Stalker was just like, oh my god, please. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Come on. Like, It was just like over and over and over and over again. I'm like, come on. And then it's just like, and then eventually the Marines got freed up, and I'm like, I gotta kill these fucking sentries. It's so bad. They need to die.
Yeah, Guardian Shield is very, very good against the sidearm weapons.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty significant, like, boon for me. I had to keep that up the whole game. And, like, once you killed them, it was a problem, right? Like,
Yeah.
It definitely sucked for me once they died.
And I think
I
should have...
guess that.
I think I should have tried to recognize that earlier and get the drop on them earlier to kind of kill them. Like, maybe I could have... I'd have to, like, review the entire game, but... Yeah, just find a way to put that damage in. Because I did think about it a couple times, Rainer's raiding up, and just kind of... like, kind of just putting them right in your face and be like, you can't run now. Fun. But yeah, it was a pretty good, pretty solid, close game. Protoss is still really tanky. Like they did good.
Yeah.
I think we also played very well into each other there, and the 4 big units of Marines with rocket launcher slugs and AGG-12s is fantastic. It has a ton of extra little bit of chip damage to kind of finish things off, or to, you know, free themselves up if it's just one model who charged in to try and tie them down. They just don't care, because he's like, you have 6 shots to kind of kill it before you can like swing the C-14s into what your real target, or vice versa.
Yeah.
So
I think I made a couple mistakes with Artanis too.
Like, yeah, not getting him on the zone earlier, I think, was a big one.
Yeah, so I couldn't is because of how he was locked in, and I kept wanting to use my cards for other things, but I should have just warp prisoned him out, because so that he could charge back in onto the zone.
But I also think I tried
or like threaten Jimmy, or like anything else. But
well, you could have. Oh, if you disengaged. Wait, didn't you do a disengage later in the game with him?
I did. Once I got you down to 2 models. So that was part of it. Is right. Like I was planning on getting you to 2 models, because I was like, well, I should be able to do this. But it wasn't happening because I kept rolling 1 on my surge. I was like, well, I mean, I missed with both of my attacks on the first, or I had 2 misses, which is only 1 in 36 to happen.
No, I think you did. I think you got 1, but I just healed it off because it's just 3 damage. I'm like, yeah, that's fine.
Well, I had precision, so I needed to roll Snake Eyes, and I did, and that was a real problem. So, like, I had a couple of those types of things come up where, like, he was supposed to just, get them down to 2 guys and then back up, so I didn't want to waste Warp Prism to, like, disengage him and charge better. But, man, I needed to do it.
Yeah, it's... Well, like Jimmy dice, or it's just like 3 1s on the elephant gun. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Like, can we not, please?
Yeah.
Like, fuck me.
Right, and like that definitely happens the other way too. Like, it wasn't just dice. I made a mistake because what is likely to happen would have saved me a resource, which is helpful, but it's not guaranteed to happen, and I got greedy. Like, I made multiple greedy plays that game that I didn't need to make. That did cost me and made that game harder. Like, every time I got greedy, I got punished for it, and it made the game harder. Like, they were at least calculated to the point that I thought I could win even if they went the wrong way, and I was able to do that, but man, it was a lot closer than it should have been.
Yeah. I don't know. I try my best, but it's just like how much supplies in that list? Is it like 14 or 15?
Yeah, it's 14. I think your list is 13 though.
Yeah, it's like but a lot, like, there's not as many activations compared to other Terran lists using running around with the small Marines, and
I think that's part of the advantage, though. Like, sometimes shooting first with Terran is really good, and if you don't want to, you can get there, like, on the back of Jimmy giving you extra activations if you really want last turn.
Yeah.
But it's expensive.
It is expensive, but also, like, even then, like, usually you're using that to, like, get into a better position. Like, you've moved up, your opponent, let's say, backs up, and you're like, okay, well, I'm just gonna reactivate them, they're gonna go again. Like, gotcha. Or what I did into
and
Apex
it keeps
in
your
our
opponent
game.
from doing that in the first place, right? Because the threat of it prevents your opponent from doing that.
And you want to usually activate Jimmy in the latter half of your movement phase to hand out those various things, unless it's like, oh, we're all in here together. You know, the big clusterfuck, and you're just like, hand out crit 2, who gives a shit? Let's get going.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, like, I think crit 2 is usually higher. I think it's generally higher value than stim.
Because you're not taking you're not, so stim, you have to spend
because of the damage,
sorry, so this is the stim matrix. 1 CP for stim, and you take damage. Then, another CP for medic heal to get rid of that damage. Because you just don't want it sitting there. So that's 2 activations and 2 CP for stim, if you want to be effective at it, while crit is just 1 activation, multiple CPs giving out to multiple people.
Yep.
It's just more effective for your tempo, and it still does a lot of work. Like, there's times where it's like I'll crit a unit, I won't stim them, and then it's like, sure, fire your guns. Okay, we got 9 hits. Maybe we should have got 12 hits. Like, oh, that sucks, but whatever. Here's crit 2 on your surge of 2. So there's 4 of them go through, make your 5 saves. Okay, you failed 3 of them. Okay, so that's 7 damage. There's a zealot dead. Like, sweet. Yep. Like, okay, cool. AGG 12 now goes. Like, shit like that. My only issue with crit 2, it's on your first range attack. So if you're using like your AGG 12 or your rocket launcher to trigger something like tough or like lurking, all that little shebang reactions and stuff that people have for things, it will waste it on that, but not necessarily as bad. Like, if I need to like draw out a tough roll, like if it's on like the first range attack or something, might just put the crit 2 on the
rocket launcher goes into them. You're like, well, if you get 3 hits, I guess the tough matters. But even then, 2 of them, if you only get 2 hits, then but if you get only 2 hits, then the tough didn't matter, and you still turned it off because you crit through it. So
it's like you have those options in those various states of like, what are my tools? What am I doing? Crit out.
Yeah. So, but overall, I think that was a really good game. I think you played it really well. We played Typhoon and Hold Position.
Yeah. So like, one of us was and that was probably gonna be my worst matchup. Just because of that deployment. Like, Terran can play on Typhoon, they just don't really want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to play Acropolis because you're too close to me. Typhoon, I'm a little too far away from nicely getting onto zones and reinforcing nicely. Like, it's like a move and a half to get to places compared to just a move, I find, with Typhoon. Yeah.
Yep.
Like, if you're treating a move as like not just like you walking a guy, going effectively 7 inches. It's like, okay, 7, go, maybe a double activate, or stimming and shit like that. Like, it just takes a little longer to get there. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
I enjoyed our game. What do you think of the map?
Let's see. I like that map. I think that map was good. I don't even think it had too much grass. I think that one I just was happy with.
Yeah, you can kind of tell as I was making maps, like, I was getting better with the grass.
Yeah, I get it too, right? Like, you like grass as a mechanic, and I do too. I think grass is a good mechanic. But you start throwing it on maps, and you're like, okay, we got to get it down to like, 6 to 8 pieces, right?
Yeah, like, I think there was someone was like showing off a map, and they're like, I got some grass on it. It's like, you literally have a line of grass. Like, it's 4 pieces of grass, but it's in a line, so it's like technically 2 pieces of grass. I'm just like, what am I looking at? Like, what is this? This is not a map. Like, you don't have anything blocked off.
Well, like, the starter set comes with 4 pieces of grass, and 2 of the starter sets are kind of that's the like what you should be doing. I don't know. Should is
for your table
loaded word, but like, that's kind of like, I guess, what they're sort of assuming a table is going to look like is 2 sets. Is one of those boxes per 1,000 points. And I think that works really well. Like, I like that terrain piece. I think it's going to overall be pretty good.
Yeah, I agree with you. I will probably get, like, acrylic tokens for grass at some point, just so they're easier to, like, pick up and get rid of and also be very distinct on the table. Like this is grass.
Yeah, I figure if I paint it green, it'll be fine. But that's valid too. Like you can absolutely do that, and it makes sense.
Yeah, it's just like having a ton of it. It's just easier to get like a 3D printed token, you know, like a little rectangle for grass and just throw it on there on tables, kind of thing. Makes it.
Yeah, right now I'm getting one of the terrain sets, and I don't know. I'm considering. It sounds like Jeff is getting one somewhere else, so I might see if like he wants to sell his to me, because he's getting half my Terran stuff, or he's getting all my Terran stuff. He's getting my Terran half of the all-in bundle, which currently includes the terrain. But I don't think he needs it, because I think he's also splitting a starter with somebody else and getting the terrain. And I'd like to have enough to like do another table if I wanted to go to a local store, so I'd have, you know, like 2 tables worth. And I did buy another mat, so I would have that. But either way, we'll figure that out later. That doesn't really not really relevant to the podcast.
We got about your third game.
So yeah, round 3, I played against Brian.
Yes, you beat me.
As we mentioned,
you're king of the hilling, and Brian beat Dyzerg. So
yep.
Eliminate.
And he got the bye round 1. Oh, pseudo bye. We had one of our Australian friends sign up for the tournament who was definitely planning on playing from like midnight to noon or whatever, and that didn't happen. He chose to sleep because he's an adult human. And I definitely would not have signed up for the tournament because in his case, but I appreciate his desire to do it. And as somebody who is no longer 25, I definitely would have done that back in the day, and I just can't anymore. And it's just one of those.
It's got to be really worth it. Like, if FromSoft releases in like Dark Souls 4, like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna be up all night playing that. There's no questions. I literally can't do it. Like I just fall asleep now. Like I'm just too tired. In the middle of the boss fight, you died.
I mean, maybe not quite, but like I'd be riding torrent like over to a boss fight and starting to nod off and be like, all right, I'm gonna hit the next bonfire and I'm crashing.
Just ride him off of a cliff. It's like, I'll find my corpse later.
I definitely wouldn't do that. No, I'm not dying if I don't have to.
That's some serious money right there. You're losing.
My runes. But yeah, so Brian and I played a pretty good game. He did something that like I totally understand. So he got a bye round 1, and then round 2 he played Dyzerg. And then round 3, he wanted to play the other list he brought, because we did a 2-list list chicken setup. I don't know, like I'm a little all over the place. So I didn't set up the tournament very well.
It's fine. You're doing great.
And so when we did that, so he had already played that list, and he wanted to play his other list. And frankly, like he played a list that's not very good into Protoss. And it was a 10 Hydra list, and it was kind of the same like situation where here's these Hydras that are threatening, and like we're kind of jockeying for position, and then like turn 3 happens, and I have multiple zealots I had zealots come out of the pylon on 2, and then I had zealots come out of the pylon on 3, and it's like, okay, well, you know, Praetors are gonna charge into those Hydras, and the Hydras are not gonna live that. They're not gonna kill enough Praetors, and they're just gonna get murdered. And that's what happened. Like and once those Hydras start to crumble, it's all over.
They just don't have the damage anymore. Like, yeah.
Yep. So he just took too much damage too quickly. And once, like, the problem is there are a lot of points, And tough doesn't really matter when you're taking like 12 hits, right?
Okay.
Tough's really good against those like 2 damage. Like it's really great against stalkers, and it's not very good against zealots. Because I charged zealots in and gatewayed them, and I'm like, well, you know, here's some impacts, and it's okay against the impacts because it's only like 6, but they still have 5 saves. You know that there's still a lot of damage that goes through, so that still like picks up a guy most of the time. And then you follow that up with the attacks, and it's like 10 hits on average. And it's like, well, there they go.
Woo! Yeah. Poor guys.
It's like, oh, you took 9 damage instead of 10 damage. That doesn't feel good. You can't afford to lose two to 3 of those guys. Like, it's just too many points. And they die too fast. So yeah, it was I felt like it was a scenario where it's like, all right, well, I know how Hydras work, and I'm good into Hydras, so I'll just kill them. Like,
dude,
I'll just hide out of line of sight, and I'll charge from out of line of sight, and then I'll kill the Hydras, and then I'll be ahead by enough that nothing else matters.
Yeah, and then you won with the mercy kill. What round did it end on? My question for the mercy kill.
It ended on 3.
Wow. Damn.
So it shouldn't have. It should have gone to 4. But I was able to pile in and get on a zone, and then he took way too much, like way more damage than he was supposed to on roaches. Like, he shouldn't have lost 2 roaches, and they all died, but he shouldn't have even lost 2. He should have taken like 6 damage from what came into him, but he just failed a bunch of saves. So I was able to take a zone from him, and it was on front lines. So I took 2 zones from him that I shouldn't have been able, that like mathematically I shouldn't have taken.
Okay, alright.
And that's, you know, obviously another like 4 VP, or well, 6 VPs, because he should have scored 1 or 8. I guess it's an 8 VP swing.
Yeah, he's not getting VPs scored, and you are.
Yeah, and I'm getting the points for overturning. So yeah, so that was an 8, like, and everything just went wrong for him on that turn, and I was able to flip 2 zones, and it's just like, well, that's game. You know, there's nothing you can do at that point. Like, I don't know. That one just sucked. Like, I don't even like those kinds of wins, but I mean, there was no coming back from the game at that point, at least, which is, I guess, kind of why the rule is what it is.
It doesn't drag it out.
It was over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was no reason to keep playing after, like, I had killed that. I think I killed like 7 supply or something. So
I know in War Machine Mark III, it was if you have more than like 5 points above your opponent at the end of a turn, the game ends and you win. Because I know in Mark II is like once you got to 5, it was like a race to 5. So people would just get like really aggressive because like they would get to 5 before, or have get to 5 before their opponent, even if their opponent was on 3. The game would end. Yeah. And so it's like your opponent had no opportunity to fight back. While if it's like having 5 more, okay, so now your opponent has 3, you have 5, you have to now get to 8 to end this game. So now your opponent still has a chance to fight back, and you don't get rewarded for an incredibly aggressive, risky play. But I do like for the mercy kill or the mercy rule game.
Yeah, it's really hard to get the mercy condition in a game that's not decided, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think you're ever gonna get it and be like, oh man, like, I don't think you're ever gonna get mercy and be like, oh, I would have come back from there. Like, yeah. I haven't seen that happen yet. Like,
no,
at least not in a way like you'd have to be pretty unaware.
No one's gonna fight you on that.
Yeah, like I don't think it's gonna come up, right? I think if you get mercied in this game, you probably had already lost. Like, and there was not reason to keep playing it out.
Well, also,
which I think is good.
Yeah, like if if they're like, well, my army's still on the table, it's like, yeah, but you weren't on zones for like, you weren't on any of the zones for like 2 turns or something. Like, you know, you tag them,
I
tag
get
them,
that
you
your
get
models
super
are there, but
yeah,
like,
could you, if you controlled all 5 zones, so you're getting like 2, 4, let's say it's whole position, you're getting 4 from your opponent, 3, so you're at 7. You got to kill 3 supply worth of stuff. So like, you're playing till turn 3 minimum if nothing has died, like no supply has died. I feel in a lot of these scenarios. So as Divine, so like, you know, there should be conflict at some point. It forces what's good.
Yeah, I don't even know if you can win Divide and Conquer. Like, I think it would be impossible to win Divide and Conquer. Well, and that one goes to 12 too, randomly.
Mm-hmm.
You have to win by 12 for the mercy on it, and I actually just don't think it's possible to get there on 2.
No, I don't.
Which
think
would be 2 turns left, which is why that's a relevant commentary.
I don't think any of the scenarios, just off the top of my head, can do the mercy condition on 2. If you take over all 5 and don't actually fight each other.
But like Divide and Conquer effectively starts the game on 2, which is why I thought like bringing that one up specifically was relevant.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Because you do score on 1, and you do start with 8 supply on the board.
Mm-hmm.
But I still don't think you can do it. So.
But your opponent has to be not interacting with the scenario element at all for them to try, I feel like, to try and argue with you because it's like, okay, you've probably lost half your list and I probably still have a bunch of stuff and I'm on all the zones. Like, what do you? It's done. We're good. Thank you for the game.
If your opponent didn't deploy thing, like it would have to be something ridiculous. Like they literally didn't deploy models, right? Because you'd have to take all 4 zone, like all 4 quarters and the middle twice to win by 12.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, that one's only 10. Is it supply drop's the one that you have to win by 12?
The supply. Oh, God damn it! Mission creator, mission cards. Standard. Where the fuck are you, supply drop? Yeah, it is 12. All right. Well, shit. Okay, Define Conquer.
Define Conquer's 10 then.
Gain 2v,
but it'd still be nearly impossible.
You get 1.
Like, you'd have to
4, 5, 6.
kill a lot of stuff.
You could win Divine Conquer on turn 2.
Yeah, you can.
But like they'd have to not deploy stuff to do it.
Right? Yeah, they'd have to not deploy stuff. It's very, very hard to win it on 2. Because like I think they literally have to just not have models. You could take the middle and your 2 zones, and 2 of the quarters pretty easily. I guess if you're playing like Acropolis, you could probably do some cute stuff to like somehow get 3.
Just ambo a bunch of roaches into your opponent's zone, and then just having one guy on either.
Well, yeah, like with double domineering queen and getting onto zones, like I could, and like Acropolis or Typhoon, I could see you getting to 3, right?
Yeah.
Getting 3 of the quarters. It's still like that's still a lot, and I still don't think it's likely to happen, but at least it exists as an option. So it is winnable on 2, which is relevant because it's the 2 turns left victory. But I don't know, whatever. Usually, in order to get there, something has to have gone pretty like unlikely mathematically wrong for your opponent.
Also, like,
which is what happened to Brian. Like, he got pretty unlucky on some saves, and it was a bad matchup. And then, like, yeah, I can capitalize on that.
So you're the winner of the Commandant Conquest Memorial Day Weekend Open.
Yeah, the first annual.
The first annual. Sorry.
Brian, Brian told me to make it yearly, so I'm going to call it the first annual, and then if it becomes the second annual, we'll see. It'll be a surprise to everyone.
Yeah, you can hold your title. Are you gonna make it a single elimination because of the TTS event in a day, so people can go do other stuff?
No, I mean, maybe.
I've always wanted to do one of those, not gonna lie. Just like, oh, I get to go relax now.
Yeah, the thing is, I do kind of want it to only be 8 players, so that it's done in 3 rounds. But I wouldn't have a problem doing that, like, realistically, if we wanted to cut it short, or do single limb, because I didn't want to do single limb for me because I wanted to stream the whole tournament. Like, I wanted to stream 3 games.
Mhm.
That was like part of it. So like, I didn't want it single limb because I could lose. And I didn't certainly wasn't going to be like, I'm planning on not losing, because that's, even for me, that's arrogant. So
Fucking Darth Ben sitting on his throne, Palpatine style. Knock on wood, no one's gonna throw me down a ventilation shaft today. Carl busting down the door, ready to go to town on you. Ah, fuck.
Man, the robot chicken is a deep cut.
I love robot chicken. Not gonna lie.
I mean, I do too, but like, it's been a while since I thought about robot chicken. Like, there were a lot of things that you could have said, and robot chicken was not one of the ones I was expecting.
Oh boy, oh man,
and I don't mean that in a bad way. It just like caught me off guard.
I think one of the best skits they did with Palpatine was the escalator. Where it's like they're all like, "My lord, my lord, my lord." He's like, "Yes, Stormtrooper. Yes, Stormtrooper. Yes, Stormtrooper. Fuck you!" He's like crashes out on the or it's like Vader tells him he like lost the Death Star to like a bunch of teenage kids. It's like, where are you? It's like been trying to get a signal because he's stuck in an asteroid field. He's like, what is an aluminum falcon? He's like,
okay,
yeah,
definitely off topic, but very funny.
Anyway, that's basically the episode though, so we can wrap this up.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, you can always cut this.
No, it's staying in. This is how we end it.
I think it was a good tournament. I think everything went pretty well. So, we had some last minute drops, which made it kind of turn into a single limb, but nobody was like upset about it. The worst was that Brian got paired into our Aussie friend round 1,
Sleepy Reese, as he will now be known.
And
can you change his name on the server to that?
Yeah, I could. I don't know. I feel bad. Like it's a tough. Like, that's tough to do. Like I said, I wouldn't have signed up for it because like I would have been like, I don't think I can do this. But,
yeah. Sure.
But yeah.
I had a blast. Like, I think it did very well, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it was a fun tournament. I'm looking forward to playing in Jesse's like 1 game a week tournament coming up here, which is definitely much more of the like normal TTS style. But I really I also kind of wanted to get a feel for like how much fatigue, like mental fatigue, there would be from playing 3 games of Starcraft in a day, because I do feel like I think really hard.
I'm gonna tell you something. I could tell on the 3rd round as I was like watching and painting viddies, you were getting tired.
Yeah. Oh, I was definitely getting tired.
That's how we beat you. We just make you play a 4th round in one day.
Yeah, I mean, I second wind into games pretty well, but yeah, it was, part of it is we did long rounds and we started late. So it was getting pretty late in the day for me too, because I wanted to play something that was like a little more reasonable for you guys. Because, if we were playing on just my timeline without thinking about anybody else, I would have started round 1 at 8 a.m. my time, which would have been 7 for you guys. So nobody would have played, obviously. But like, for me to be optimal, like, I get up at 5:30 or 6 with the dogs every morning. So by the time we're getting to like 10:30 at night, for me, like, it's been a long day.
I was up until like 3 a.m. the previous night playing Dyzerg. We started so late, and I don't know, we chatted, and I was just like, I didn't go to bed until like 2:30, 3 a.m. in the morning. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? When I like rolled up to my round 1, I literally had a Monster Energy drink sitting beside me, and I'm like, I will need you if it gets bad.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, it was a good tournament. Like I won. I think you got second with tiebreakers, but it's same difference. Like
whatever. Just it's having
you
fun.
and Brian were both 2-1, so and you both only lost to me. So
what do you think of
shrug.
the last map?
That one, I thought after you made the changes to some of the stuff, I really liked the board, but specifically like technical difficulty wise, the ramps didn't work, and like for whatever reason, like the high ground on that map also measured weird.
Okay.
But like that's all technical side stuff.
I'll see. About...
Jesse made a comment about it because
Yeah.
he didn't think Brian was within an inch of the edge, and I'm like, at one point, and I was like, oh, maybe, but I thought that was his intent, so I just assumed he like did it. I don't know.
Mhm.
And I'm like, well, whatever. If that's your intent, it's good enough for me. Is I guess part of where my life's at. Like he had the movement to do it, and his intent was to do it, so count it.
Yeah, that's fair. Also, like sometimes TTS models like to like wiggle if they're not perfectly level. They'll like slowly slide down. I've noticed. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yep.
Yeah. No, I'll look into. I think like there's some of these maps. I'm gonna pull some grass off, and also I think I'll go in there and fix that ramp. Terran mining outpost. I'll probably go. I played with Jesty, and there's one of the ramps on each of the high grounds, like each of the high grounds has 3 ramps. One of them is smaller than the other 2, and it makes it really tough for actually getting models up it. I don't think you can actually place a stalker on there to get it up the ramp, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, well, we can fix that. It's not the end of the world. So yeah, there's stuff like that. But yeah, I'm glad the train worked really well. But it provided a lot to the event and also used all the different terrain features and made interesting choices from what I've heard. I'm glad. Doing well.
Yeah, no, I was really happy with it. I think the terrain did a really good job. And yeah, I don't know. Overall, like I was just really happy with the like event in general. I think everything went pretty well. So
I'm glad.
I think the maps were good and
okay, well, I think we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you for listening to the after tournament of the Memorial Day weekend Competent Conquest Open first annual. Recap, bunch of different games, how it ran, draft system, thoughts on various other things, and I hope everyone has a great day. Bye!
bye.